everyone, and welcome back to Moments of Love. My name is Wemi if you're new here, and today, as the video title has probably already told you, we're going to be talking about how I teach space. And we got into the space unit idea from, I believe, the SpaceX launch that took place back in May, something like that. It started off because I had bought my son astronaut pajamas back in Christmas, and he just kind of took to them right around that time, and I introduced him to the space launch the very first time it was supposed to happen. I turned it on my laptop, on my computer monitor. He came into my office and he got super excited, and then unfortunately it got canceled. So then I had to build up the hype for him. At that point I was like, okay, you really want to see this? Perfect. So we built up the hype and we made sure we wore astronaut pajamas. Like on that day, the night before, we wore astronaut pajamas. Super excited about it. And from there, that just really sparked a huge interest in space for him. And I decided, you know what, why don't we run with this, right? That's what homeschooling is all about. It's the ability to have flexibility with what you teach, how you teach it, especially when your child shows interest in a specific topic. And in our case, this hair is really bothering me. In our case, that is space right now. So what I did was I went ahead and I purchased a bunch of books, and I'm going to show you guys what I purchased and how we've been using each book. So to get started off with, we're going to start with books because, well, reading is a very, very, very incredible way to acquire knowledge without feeling like you are learning, if that makes sense. We started off with Osborne books. So we have a few Osborne books here actually in our space unit, and I'm going to try to have them all out at once, and then we can kind of just go through briefly and I can show you guys the difference between each book. Oh boy, there we go. So we have 4. Oh, we found a pencil at the bottom of our basket. Let's try to put them in size order because, well, that's how you usually hold up a book, right? Okay, so we've got 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4. So I'm not going to give age ranges on these because honestly I don't remember and I don't want to give false information. If I find the information, I will put it in the description box down below. So we have Look Inside Space, and Look Inside Space is essentially I keep covering my face, it's essentially a lift the flap book, as it says, with over 70 flaps to lift, and it's super engaging for him. It talks about so the contents here, we have blast off, the moon, space station, bright starlight, glittering galaxies, stargazing, space questions. So I would say this is not, here you're not learning specifically about the planets, rather you're learning about the idea of space and what exists in space. Then next you have my very first space book, and I feel like that means this is probably the very first one you should have, but don't quote me on that. So my very first space book, you get into, I'm gonna guess, yeah, just based on how the pages look here, this looks to me more like a very introductory level book. So we've got just right here, this is a double page of what is space. I'm sorry about the glare from my light. I'm filming at night because it has been extremely noisy in our house. We're having renovations done, so it's really noisy during the day, so it's been impossible for me to film for the past 2 weeks, and I found that I got to get this up and just film it, and nighttime is what one to get that done. Anyways, moving on. We've got 2 pages here on the moon. Then we have Space School. Before astronauts go into space, they have to do a lot of training. We have Liftoff, Space Station, Living in Space, Spacewalk, the Solar System, Exploring Mars. You guys kind of get the idea. Skipping a page there. Stars, Life of a Star, Great Galaxies, Looking at Space, Stargazing. And it ends there. So that is my very first space book. And then we have the big book of rockets and spacecraft, which is pretty much what it sounds like. So this does not have flaps, rather it has fold out pages like that. I guess that wasn't folded back properly, because it should be this way. So we've got, yeah, super massive fold out pages like that in here, and this talks about rockets and spacecraft. This is a hot mess trying to fold this back together. There we go. And then we have the big book of stars and planets. And this is a thicker book that covers all the details. Same idea of fold out books. And look at that beautiful imagery of the sun. Gorgeous. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. We've got superstars. So I just wanted to show you guys those books before we dive into how we actually use these amazing books. So the first way that we started using them to really step or ease into teaching space was with bedtime reading. So at night he would pick one of these books and he would go through a few pages kind of until he was done. Sometimes he would go through the whole book, sometimes he would just do a few pages, and he just started picking up nuggets of information, like through these, literally only through these 4 books. He knows the name of the moons out there, and I just know our moon because I haven't read the books. But that is how he has been engaging with these. He reads these books by himself. My husband is usually with him when he's reading at night, so if there's, you know, a word that's hard to say or a question that he has, my husband usually answers that for him, which is perfect because my husband's a better scientist than I am. So with that knowledge in him, we were then able to move on and get a science unit. We purchased the, oh, my coil got caught. We purchased the Gather Round Homeschool Space unit, and I purchased for him the early reader. No, actually I purchased all of it. For now I printed out early reader because so if you're not familiar with Gather Round has, you can purchase their full unit bundle, which will give you text work for all ages. And then you get your teacher's guide, which is for the parent. So in the teacher's guide, you have text that you read to your child. And from the text that you read to your child, I'm sorry that the lights are so reflective. From the text that you read to your child / children, they then go into their unit book, and they go ahead and do whatever the work for the day or week is. Hopefully that is coming across. So I'll give you guys just an example that we did today. Today it was color or paint Mercury in a circle below. So they had the circle there, and he drew the craters on there and then colored it gray. So it's very simple work. It comes with about 4 or 5 pages per chapter is what we'll call it, of the space unit. And we just sit down and we probably go through this book I'd say we've been doing 3 times a week, because we try to balance it with the rest of our learning. So we do about 3 times a week. We go through this, and then other than that, we are reading our space books to learn all about space. Some other super awesome books we have been using that he's loved: May Among the Stars, Mae Jemison. This is the story of Mae Jemison, in child form, obviously, kind of dumbed down to help them understand her story and give a little bit of inspiration. And then I purchased the Who Was Neil Armstrong, and I've been trying to read a chapter a week to him from this book. And last but not least, that's probably been giving him the most information, is Swiftwalker: A Space Adventure. We are enjoying the Swiftwalker series. It's Swiftwalker Journey Among the Oceans. We have Space Adventure. We'll be using the Journey Among the Oceans one when we hit our Oceans or Earth unit. I can't remember. But right now he likes to read this book, and this book is a lot. It is a lot, but every now and then I do let him go through it during our morning basket time. I often let him choose the book that he wants to read, and I would say he usually opts for this book or What Would Danny Do? Or What Should Danny Do? What Should Danny Do? And this book is very, very text heavy. But it dedicates a page to each planet, and it gives a lot of information about the planets. And it's essentially a story wrapped around this kid, Swift Walker, who walked super fast, and he walked so fast, and ended up in space. And then we just essentially journey through space and go through the planets and learn all about each planet. You learn about the moon and all the cool things there is to know about space. And honestly, between those 6 books, that's where he gets most of the information that he retains. From the space unit, what I have noticed so far is a lot of the information that he is learning in there, he already knows. So it just kind of acts as more of a reinforcement as opposed to the primary source of him getting that information. I would be inclined to say that we learn about space through the books that I have showed you, through these books right here. That is how we learn about space. The rest of it is supplementary learning that comes in through the Gather Round Homeschool unit. I highly recommend checking out Osborne Books for space units, because they have really great books that are content heavy, but they have it for varied ages. So for example, when I bought the space books, I bought the first one, and in my mind I was like, I don't need more than one. But then I realized that they're so different in the information they present that it doesn't hurt to have them. And as he gains more knowledge and more information about the topic, he can choose to advance himself through the books and learn more about space. And honestly, that's been the main thing that we've been doing. We are enjoying reading the books every single day. He reads something about space every day. We do the space unit study about 2 or 3 times a week, and we usually only do a few pages at a time. And that is honestly it. We keep it so simple here with our, in my opinion anyway, I think that's super simple on how we are learning about space. It's through reading. I wish, museums and all of that stuff were open, that we could head out and go spend a day in the space section of a museum, but we don't have that ability. We don't have the ability to do that right now, and we probably won't until 2021. So our space unit will be revisited when the world gets back to normal. But for now, we are learning about it through reading. We sit by the window, we look outside, and we talk about the things that we are learning outside. I have also been considering getting some I have also been considering getting some supplementary tactile things to go along with our space unit. I haven't decided yet, because I remember as a child I loved, I used to stay up. I can't even tell you guys how many times I stayed up waiting for meteor showers. Not sure I ever caught one. I don't think I ever, either because I fell asleep or the sky just wasn't dark enough or whatever. I might have seen literally one shooting star kind of moment in my entire childhood. But it was fun. It was an amazing memory that I have of my fascination with space. So I've been considering for him, him and I talked about it a little bit the last time we did our space unit, about getting a telescope to be able to look out and see the stars and see the planets that we can see from here. I think that would be a really great way for him to take what's on paper and adapt it to what actually exists in the world, because as he knows, we can't go to space, but we can see certain things from space where we are. So I'm considering doing that as well. If you guys have done that for your child, please let me know. How did it go? Did it help? Did it hinder the progress of their learning about space? I would love to know your opinions. Also, if you have any great recommendations on tools you have used, on books you have used that have also supplemented your learning on space, I would love to hear about that as well. But for now, that's all we have. That's what we've used. That's what we love. If you guys want to flip through of any of these books, comment below. I will gladly do a more focused flip through that's not washed out by light at 11 o'clock at night. But with all that being said, that's all I have to share with you guys for today. I also want to take a moment to say thank you so much to everyone who has supported this homeschool journey that I'm sharing with you guys. I know it's different from our normal channel content, but honestly it's a big part of my life right now, and I think my channel is really about what is going on in my life. And right now that is one of the biggest things going on, is homeschooling. My business is also keeping me busy, but unfortunately I can't share most of that with you guys, just because I feel like there's really not much to share if you don't really know. So therefore I share homeschooling with you. If there's other stuff you guys like me to talk about or share, I am more than happy to do so. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the comments. I love chatting in the comments, and I will see you guys in our next video, hopefully talking about something different. Maybe we'll do a Fab 5. We haven't done a Fab 5 in a while, so maybe I'll put one of those up next week if this renovation ever ends, so I can film during the day, because I don't like filming at night. All right, thanks so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, you know, the whole 9 yards. See you guys next time. Bye.